If you're getting strabismus surgery, here's what to expect. It's been a really long journey to get here, and I'm going to have a lot of videos where I cover everything that got me up to this point. But right now, I'm just going to talk about going ahead and making the decision to do it. So I found my doctor, who is Dr. Federico Velez at UCLA, and he did all the measurements and told me that prisms weren't going to help my eyes because there was too much deviation, and that surgery was really my only option if I wanted to have single vision. Prisms might have helped me if I was just looking straight ahead all the time, but I'm looking in all different directions, and every different direction you look, your prescription changes. And maybe that's why I felt like shit all the time. But the idea of surgery was really scary, because what about scar tissue, and what if they overcorrect or undercorrect or whatever? It seemed like it was going to be a permanent thing. And Dr. Velez was like, everything's reversible. So apparently that's because of all the special techniques that he uses, and also because he uses adjustable sutures where they can adjust your sutures while you're awake right after surgery. I know that sounds scary, but it wasn't. And he mentioned two side effects, which were scar tissue and infection, and said that, yeah, they can be problems, but he'd never seen them in his practice. So Dr. Velez is the man. I scheduled my surgery, which is a few months out, and then had a pre-op around a week before the actual event. They remeasured my eyes to make sure that there hadn't been a big change in deviation, and there hadn't been, because apparently that can be a problem. So the night before the surgery, I was pretty freaked out, and then the day of the surgery, I was also freaked out because some guys are going to be cutting into my eye muscles, and that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So I went to the hospital and got checked in and everything, and then Dr. Velez came in and we talked about the technique he was going to use, and he decided to work on both of my eyes, because he said that I could get better results if we worked on both of them, even though one eye was primarily the problem. I wasn't thrilled about getting one eye cut into. I was less thrilled about having both eyes cut into, but I figured, what the hell? They wheel me in, pump me full of stuff, put a gas mask on me, I'm out, and the procedure took about an hour. Next thing I know, I wake up in the recovery room, and they're giving me ice chips, and they're giving me juice, and the juice is delicious because I haven't had anything to eat. I've been fasting because of the surgery. And apparently, coming out of anesthesia, I had quite a potty mouth. Then Dr. Velez came back and had me open up my eyes, and he had one of these targets that you look at, just like at the optometrist's office, with an E way off in the background. And he had me look at that to check the alignment of my two eyes. And then he used the adjustable sutures to dial everything in so that it was perfect. So that's the part I was really scared about. And I could feel him kind of tugging at my eyes a little bit. And I'm just shocked at how painless it was. I didn't really feel a thing. The hardest part of the whole thing was keeping my eyes open, because everything was just so bright coming out of anesthesia. And the thing that was the most amazing to me was that as soon as he finished up, my double vision was completely gone. It had just vanished. I had lived in this world for at least 7 years where everything was double when I moved my head. It was a miracle. So I was expecting after eye surgery that I would go home and be wrapped up like a mummy for months as my eyes healed, but actually there was no wrapping or anything. I asked my doctor if I needed to lay low or be careful with my eyes, and he said, no, I want you to go out and use your eyes unlimited. That's what they're there for. And that was a surprise. I really expected to be down for a while. I looked like I had just gotten out of a bar fight. The whites of my eyes were completely red, and it was a pretty rough look. I did get a lot of looks from people for a couple weeks after surgery. But since the surgery was right around Halloween, it was a good way to scare the little kids that came up to the house for candy. I was expecting a lot more pain. There was some pain initially in the first few days, but then I would just say it was more of a soreness. And there was a long time where it felt like I had a piece of sand in both eyes. Usually they just send you out the door with Tylenol, but I insisted on at least having some codeine, and I'm glad I did. And it was only for a couple days. And then all I needed was Tylenol to manage my pain after that. They sent me home with steroid antibiotic drops, and they also had me buy some liquid tears that I used a lot. And it was a few weeks before the feeling of sand in my eyes went away. It took a couple months for the redness in my eyes to go away. And at one point, a little chunk started to grow out of the front of my eye, and we went in and got it checked, and it was just one of the adjustable sutures just sort of working its way out, and it was completely normal. So now my vision is perfect, but my body is still trying to kind of catch up with where my eyes are at. Because did you know that you actually do most of your seeing in your brain? Not seeing double is really, really great, but I'm still figuring out where I am in space. And that's a whole nother journey that I'm gonna have to talk about in some other videos, because there's a lot of ground to cover. But one huge challenge has been crossed off my list. So this is just my experience, but I was fortunate enough to have one of the best doctors in the world do this procedure for me. But the bad news is that the surgery doesn't work for everyone. And in some cases, some people need to have multiple surgeries before they get results. If you're thinking about having strabismus surgery, or you've had strabismus surgery, or you've got something to say about strabismus surgery, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love for you to leave a comment, and then maybe other people would benefit from your comments as well. Good luck on your strabismus journey. I'm here for you.